Hi everyone, it's Jordan again, and for today I wanted to read a devotional to you guys that just really stood out to me, and it's from You Can Count on God by Max Lucado. I think I might have read another devotion from this book before. I love this book. I love Max Lucado. He's so good. So this is actually February 19th, not today's as you might think, but I read this one the other day and actually shared it with a friend, and while I was sharing it with a friend, I'm like, you know what? I really, really love this. It just has such a good way of looking at things. So that's why I wanted to read it to you. It's entitled The Promise Prescription. And let me pause right there. I know that I've talked multiple times about God's promises before, but I think talking about it in this light is going to be different. I think it's going to bring a new view to it, basically, because it did for me. I had never thought of it in this way before. So before you start thinking, well, I've already kind of heard all that she has to say about, God and God's promises, I think this is a very unique viewpoint that Max Lucado brings, and that's why I wanted to bring it to you. So the promise prescription, the Bible verse that goes along with it is Psalm 25:14. It says, "Friendship with God is reserved for those who reverence him. With them alone he shares the secrets of his promises." Now I'll read to you the devotion that he writes. He said, "Just as the doctor might prescribe a medication for your body, God has given promises for your heart. He shares them as gifts from friend to friend." Let me stop right there. I love that sentence. He shares them as gifts from friend to friend. And that goes back to the Bible verse. That's the first thing that stood out to me that was so unique about this, is I thought of a relationship with a friend. When you get to know a friend, the more you get to know them, the more they reveal about their character or intimate things about what they've been through. And I just kind of got a picture of that. Like, okay, the closer I am to God, the more he's my friend, the more I'm his friend, the more and more he reveals his character to me. And that being his promises, the more promises he will reveal to me as I get closer to him. And I liked that. So that's our first point that I liked so much. Now he says, "Make it your aim to get so acquainted with these promises that you can write yourself a prescription." So Max Lucado here is talking about how he wants us to be so familiar with these verses that when we have an ailment, quote unquote, something more like a spiritual ailment, not really like I'm sick, I need to go, I have a headache, I need to get an ibuprofen, something similar. But he gives 3 examples, and I think these will help. It says, "I'm feeling fearful today. Time for me to open up a bottle of Judges 6:12. The Lord is with you. I will lay claim to the nearness of God. The world feels out of control. Time for a dose of Romans 8:28. All things work together for good. I see dark clouds on the horizon. What was it Jesus told me? Oh yeah, now I remember. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. Nothing lifts the weary soul like the promises of God." Maybe it's because I obviously relate to the prescription medical theme that's in this, but that was such a beautiful way of looking at it to me. Think, oh, okay, I have an ailment in my soul, in my spirit, I'm fearful, or I'm doubtful, or I'm, like it said, I feel like the world's out of control. Whatever it is that's going on with me, God has the solution. God has the remedy, and that is his word. That is his promises. So instead of allowing that ailment to just grow and get worse and worse in me, I'm just going to write myself a prescription and fill it and say those verses over and over again in my head, and then that'll help me. Then that'll cure me, because then I'll fix my eyes back on God, which is the main point of all of this, right? Is not to focus on yourself or your circumstances, but to focus on God and his promises and all that he is. So I just really liked that, and I was thinking about if there's one promise I could add to that, And I challenge you with the same thing. If you were going to add one thing to that, what would it be? And I was thinking my quote-unquote ailment a lot of the time these days is, I guess, maybe doubt. Like, no, sorry, your plan is just not working out. I'm sorry, I want to switch plans. I don't trust it anymore. Have you ever been there? So what's my solution? I think I'm going to write more prescriptions for that verse in Lamentations that says, "Great is thy faithfulness." I just need to remember that. if that's my ailment, then I think that's going to be my remedy. My prescription is to remember how faithful God is. So I ask the same to you. What is the biggest ailment that you struggle with? And then what's the prescription you can write yourself to point your eyes back up to God and remedy that and help Him fix that inside you? I wonder what that would be. So give that some thought, but just remember that God's promises are true. He is great as His faithfulness, and He wants to be your friend. And the more you get to know Him, the more He will reveal those promises to you that you can then take and use them to fix and heal all the broken parts of us as humans. So I think that's all. God is good all the time. Bye-bye.